The warning bells rang across the Galactic Council's main control room. Red lights flashed on every screen as Officer Tom rushed to his station. His forearms moved quickly over the control panel, trying to understand what the sensors had found. "What is it?" asked Commander Blue, his blue skin turning darker with worry. He was a Kelton, one of the oldest species in the galaxy. In his 300 years of life, he had never seen the warning systems act like this. Tom's eyes grew wide as he read the data. "Sir, we have found something strange in the outer rim. Something very big." "How big?" Blue asked, walking over to look at the screen. 2 kilometers long, sir, but that's not the strange part." Tom's voice shook a little. "The shape, it looks like a person." Blue stared at the screen. The image showed a dark shape against the stars. It had 2 arms, 2 legs, and what looked like a head. But this was not a person. This was a ship, a massive ship built to look like a humanoid. "Send this to all fleet commanders," Blue ordered, "and call an emergency meeting of the Council. Within hours, ships from 12 different species received the alert." The news spread fast through the galaxy's communication networks. A humanoid ship, bigger than most space stations, was moving through their territory. No one knew who built it or what it wanted. Admiral Vex sat in his command chair aboard the battleship Starfire. He was a Zorton, tall and thin with gray skin and large black eyes. He had fought in many wars and had seen many strange things in space, but this was different. "Show me the scans again," he told his crew. The main screen displayed the humanoid ship. It moved slowly through space, its arms slightly bent, its head turning left and right as if it was looking for something. The sight made even the bravest soldiers feel afraid. "The hull is made of unknown metal," reported Science Officer Kate. She was human-like, but with green skin and 3 eyes. "Our sensors cannot see inside it. Whatever this metal is, it blocks all our scanning attempts." "Weapons?" Vex asked. "We think so, sir. Energy readings suggest very powerful weapons built into the arms and chest area. The power levels are higher than anything we have ever seen." Vex nodded slowly. In his 60 years as a military officer, he had learned to trust his feelings. And right now his feelings told him this ship was dangerous, very dangerous. The Galactic Council met in the Great Hall on Station Prime. Representatives from dozens of species filled the circular room. The air was thick with tension as they all looked at the large screen showing the humanoid ship. Council. Leader Zara stood at the center. She was a Novan with silver skin that glowed softly in the light. Her people were known for being calm and wise, but even she looked worried. "Fellow beings," she began, "we face something we have never seen before. This ship appears to be designed like a humanoid form. We do not know who built it or why." A representative from the Crix species raised his hand. The Crix looked like giant insects with hard shells and multiple eyes. "Has anyone tried to talk to it?" "Yes," Zara replied. "We have sent messages on all known frequencies. There has been no response." "Maybe it cannot understand us," suggested a Felton representative. "The Feltons looked like large cats that walked on 2 legs. "Or maybe it does not want to talk," said General Rex, a military advisor. He was a Corvan, with thick, gray skin and small horns on his head. "Look at its design. This is not a ship built for peace, this is a weapon." The room filled with worried voices. Different species spoke in their own languages, creating a buzz of fear and concern. "Order!" Zara called out. "We must think clearly about this." Dr. Lisa, the Council's chief scientist, stood up. She was one of the few pure humans in the Council, small compared to most other species, but respected for her knowledge. "The ship's behavior is strange," she said. "It moves like it is alive. The way it turns its head, the way it moves its arms. This is not normal for any ship we know." "What are you saying?" asked Admiral Vex, who had joined the meeting by video. Link from his ship. "I am saying this might not be just a ship, it might be something else. Something we do not understand." The room went quiet. The idea that the humanoid shape might be more than just design was frightening to everyone. "It is heading toward the inner colonies," reported Intelligence Chief Mark. He was a Tellan with blue fur and large ears that could hear sounds from great distances. If it continues on this path, it will reach populated systems in 10 days. We cannot let that happen, General Rex said firmly. We must stop it before it reaches our people. But we do not know if it is hostile, Dr. Lisa argued. Look at it. Rex pointed at the screen. It is a weapon with arms and legs. What more proof do you need? Zara raised her hand for silence. We will vote. All in favor of classifying this ship as a weapon of mass destruction? One by one, hands, claws, tentacles, and other appendages rose around the room. The vote was almost unanimous. Only Dr. Lisa and 2 others voted against it. The motion passes, Zara announced. This humanoid ship is now classified as a weapon of mass destruction and a threat to galactic security. Admiral Vex felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. What are your orders, Council Leader? Assemble a task force. Ships from all member species. Find this thing and stop it before it can harm our citizens. And if it will not surrender? Vex asked. Zara's silver skin seemed to lose some of its glow. Then you must destroy it. As the meeting ended, representatives returned to their ships and stations to spread the news. Across the galaxy, military fleets prepared for what might be the strangest battle they had ever fought. They were going to war against a ship that looked like a giant person. But none of them knew the truth. The humanoid ship was not a weapon at all. It was something much different, and much more human than any of them could imagine. Strike Commander Rex stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Thunderstrike. Around him, 60 ships from 7 different species moved in perfect formation. This was the largest task force ever assembled by the Galactic Council. Their mission was simple but dangerous. Find and stop the humanoid ship before it could reach the populated worlds. All ships report ready, Commander, said his second-in-command, Lieutenant Dan. Dan was a Corvan like Rex, but younger and less experienced in battle. Rex nodded as he looked at the tactical display. Red dots showed the positions of all the ships in his fleet. Battleships, destroyers, fighters, and scout ships, all working together for one purpose. The target was last seen in the Gamma sector, Rex announced over the communication system. All ships will spread out and create a search grid. When we find this thing, no one attacks without my direct order. Sir, called out Navigator Pete from his station. Why are we being so careful? If this is really a weapon, should we not destroy it as soon as we see it? Rex turned to face the young officer. Because, Pete, we still do not know what we are dealing with. This ship might have weapons we have never seen before. We need to study it first, then decide how to stop it. The fleet divided into 3 groups, each covering a different star system. Rex led the main group toward the center where the humanoid ship was most likely to appear. As they traveled through hyperspace, he thought about the strange reports they had received. The ship moved like a living thing. It changed direction without warning. Sometimes it stopped completely, as if it was listening or looking for something. But looking for what? Captain Miles commanded the destroyer Swift Wind in the second group. His ship was fast and quiet, perfect for scouting missions. Miles was a Felton, and his cat-like senses were sharper than most other species. Contact, his sensor operator suddenly shouted. Large ship detected bearing 270. Miles jumped to his feet. Show me. The main screen lit up with the image that had terrified the entire galaxy. The humanoid ship hung in space, like a giant metal. Pursoon, its arms were slightly bent and its head seemed to be turning slowly from side to side. By the stars, whispered his weapons officer. It is really shaped like a person. Send word to Commander Rex immediately, Miles ordered. And keep our distance. We do not want to make it angry. The message reached Rex within minutes. All ships converge on Captain Miles's position. Maintain safe distance. That means at least 50 kilometers away from the target. As the fleet gathered, more and more crew members got their first look at the humanoid ship. Many had not believed the reports, but seeing it with their own eyes made it real and terrifying. It is huge, said Lieutenant Dan, staring at the screen. How did anyone build something that big? And why make it look like a person? Added Communications Officer Sarah. She was a Tellan with sensitive hearing, and she was trying to pick up any sounds from the strange ship. Rex studied the target through his binoculars. The ship's hull was dark gray, almost black. Strange markings covered its surface, but they were not like any writing he knew. The head section had what looked like eyes, probably sensor arrays, and they seemed to be looking directly at his fleet. "Sir," Sarah called out, "I am detecting something strange." "What kind of strange?" "The ship is sending out very weak signals. Not like messages, but more like scanning beams. It is studying us just like we are studying it." This news made Rex uncomfortable. "Can you tell what kind of scans?" "No, sir. The technology is completely unknown to us." Dr. Amy, the fleet science officer, worked at her station trying to understand what they were seeing. She was a Novan-like council leader, Zara, and her people were known for their analytical minds. "Commander," she said, "I have been watching the ship's movements. It is not random." "What do you mean?" "Every time it changes position, it moves away from shipping lanes and trade routes. It seems to be avoiding areas where it might encounter civilian ships." Rex frowned. "Are you saying it does not want to hurt innocent people?" "That is what the data suggests, sir." Before Rex could respond, alarms started ringing throughout the fleet. "Multiple contacts," shouted the sensor operator. "3 more humanoid ships approaching from different directions." The tactical display showed 4 red dots now, each representing a massive humanoid ship. They were moving in a pattern that looked almost like they were surrounding Rex's fleet. "All ships, battle stations," Rex commanded, "but hold fire unless they attack first." The 4 humanoid ships moved closer. Their movements were smooth and coordinated, like dancers performing together. As they approached, the fleet's communications system suddenly came alive with strange signals. "Sir," Sarah reported, "they are trying to talk to us, but I cannot understand the language." "Put it on speaker." A series of sounds filled the bridge. They were not random noises, but clearly some kind of language. The sounds were deep and rhythmic, almost musical. "Computer, analyze the signals," Rex ordered. "Analysis complete," the ship's computer replied in its mechanical voice. "The signals contain mathematical patterns. They appear to be attempting to establish basic communication." Dr. Amy looked up from her station. "Commander, I think they are trying to show us they mean no harm. These signals, they are not weapons frequencies, they are trying to talk. Then why do they not use standard galactic languages? Maybe they do not know them yet." Rex felt confused. Nothing about this situation made sense. These ships looked like weapons, but they acted like they wanted to talk. They were huge and powerful, but they seemed to avoid hurting anyone. "Sir," Lieutenant Dan said quietly, "what if we have made a mistake?" "What kind of mistake? What if these are not weapons at all?" Before Rex could answer, one of the humanoid ships began moving toward his fleet. But it did not move like it was attacking. Instead, it moved slowly and carefully, like someone trying not to scare a frightened animal. "All ships hold position," Rex ordered. "Let us see what it does." The humanoid ship stopped exactly 50 kilometers away, the same distance Rex had, ordered his own ships to maintain. Then it did something that surprised everyone. It raised one of its massive arms and waved. It was greeting them. "Commander," Dr. Amy said in amazement, "I do not think these are weapons. I think these are people." Rex stared at the screen. The implications of what she said were enormous. If these were not weapons, then the Galactic Council had declared war on an innocent species, a species that was trying to be friendly. "Get me a direct line to Council Leader Zara," he said. "We need to talk." But as he waited for the connection, Rex wondered if it was already too late. How do you apologize to someone when you have already pointed 60 warships at them? The hunt had begun, but Rex was starting to realize they might be hunting the wrong target. Captain Jack stood in the neural command center of the rescue ship Guardian. Around him, soft blue lights pulsed in rhythm with the ship's massive heart-like engine. The Guardian was not just a ship. It was humanity's greatest achievement, a dynamic living machine that could think and feel alongside its human crew. Jack placed his hand on the warm metal surface of the command interface. Immediately, his mind connected with the ship's artificial intelligence. a system they called Anna. Through this connection, he could see and feel everything the ship experienced. "Anna, show me the search pattern for Sector 7, Jack said, softly. Images flooded his mind. The vast emptiness of space, scattered debris from destroyed ships, and the faint energy signatures that might lead them to survivors. For 4 months now, the Guardian and 3 other human rescue ships had been searching for the colony ship New Dawn. The New Dawn had left Earth 2 years ago with 15,000 colonists, hoping to build humanity's first home in this part of the galaxy. But something had gone wrong. Their last message spoke of system failures and a desperate attempt to land on an unknown planet. "Jack," Anna's voice spoke directly into his mind. "The alien ships are still following us. They maintain distance but watch our every move." Jack sighed. The alien fleets had been tracking them for days. Every attempt at communication had failed. The aliens seemed to think the human ships were some kind of threat. "Keep trying to talk to them, Anna. Use mathematics, music, anything that might work." "I have tried 17 different communication methods," Anna replied. "They receive our signals but do not respond properly. I believe they think we are weapons." This made Jack sad and frustrated. Humanity had finally reached the stars, only to be misunderstood by the first aliens they met. The rescue ships were designed to look humanoid because humans worked better with familiar shapes. But to the aliens, this design probably looked scary. In the medical bay, Dr. Lisa checked the emergency treatment pods for the 100th time. She was the chief medical officer, ready to help any survivors they might find. The Guardian could treat up to 5,000 injured people at once, using the most advanced medical technology humanity had ever created. Still no word from the search teams? She asked Nurse Mike, who was organizing medical supplies. "Nothing yet," Mike replied. "But Captain Jack thinks we are getting close. The debris trail is getting stronger." Dr. Lisa nodded and continued her work. She had volunteered for this mission because she believed in helping people. When the distress signal from New Dawn reached Earth, thousands of people had volunteered to join the rescue mission. They knew it would be dangerous, but they could not leave fellow humans stranded in space. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Dave monitored the ship's biomechanical systems. The Guardian was partly alive with organic components that could heal themselves if damaged. This made the ship incredibly tough and able to survive in dangerous conditions. "How are the other ships doing?" Dave asked his assistant, Engineer Lisa. "Defender, Protector, and Savior are all running perfectly," Lisa replied. "Their crews report the same problems we have. The aliens think we are attacking them." Dave shook his head. "If they only knew we were here to save lives, not take them." On the bridge, Communications Officer Paul worked desperately to establish contact with the alien fleets. He had spent years learning about different species and their languages, but these aliens used completely different communication methods. "Captain," Paul called out, "I am picking up increased chatter from the alien ships. Something has changed." Jack disconnected from Anna's neural link and walked to Paul's station. "What kind of change?" "They seem excited about something. And sir, I am detecting more alien ships approaching from 3 different directions." This was bad news. If more alien ships arrived, the situation could become very dangerous very quickly. Jack made a difficult decision. "Anna, prepare to send a general distress signal on all frequencies. Make it clear we are on a rescue mission." "Jack," Anna's voice sounded worried. "If we reveal our true purpose, we might also reveal the location of any New Dawn survivors. The aliens might reach them first." It was a terrible choice. Risk the survivors' safety to prevent a war, or stay silent and hope the aliens did not attack. Before Jack could decide, Sensor Officer Tim called out from his station. "Captain, we have found something. Large debris field, bearing 180. The metal composition matches New Dawn's hull." Jack's heart raced. After months of searching, they had finally found evidence of the lost colony ship. "Anna, scan for life signs." The ship's powerful sensors reached out into space, searching through the wreckage for any sign that people had survived. Minutes passed, like hours as everyone waited for results. "I am detecting faint energy signatures," Anna reported. They could be emergency shelters or escape pods. Very weak, but definitely artificial. How many? Unknown. The signals are too weak to count accurately. But Jack, some of them are definitely human technology. The bridge crew cheered quietly. After all this time, there might actually be survivors, waiting for rescue. But their celebration was cut short when alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Multiple alien vessels approaching fast, Tim announced. They are not maintaining safe distance anymore. Jack looked at the tactical display. Dozens of alien ships were converging on their position. Some looked like warships, others like smaller fighters. They were clearly preparing for battle. Captain, Paul said urgently, I am receiving a transmission from the aliens. It sounds like an ultimatum. Can you understand it? Only parts of it. But I think they are telling us to surrender or be destroyed. Jack felt the weight of impossible choices pressing down on him. If they fought the aliens, people would die, on both sides. If they surrendered, the New Dawn survivors might never be rescued. If they ran away, they would be abandoning their mission and their fellow humans. Anna, how long do we need to reach the debris field and search for survivors? At least 6 hours to do a thorough search and rescue operation. And how long before the alien ships reach us? 30 minutes. Jack closed his eyes and thought about the 15,000 people who had left Earth with hope in their hearts. He thought about the families waiting for news back home. He thought about what it meant to be human, to risk everything to save others. Send a message to the other ships, he said finally. Tell them we are not leaving without our people. If the aliens want to fight, we will give them one, but we are not abandoning the survivors. The rescue mission had become something else entirely. Humanity's first contact with alien life was about to become humanity's first war among the stars. Dr. Maya worked alone in her laboratory aboard the science vessel Starseeker. She had been studying the humanoid ships for 3 days now, and what she found made her question everything the Galactic Council believed about these strange vessels. Maya was a Kelton like Commander Blue from the Council's control room. Her people were known for their patience and careful thinking. While the military ships kept their distance and prepared for battle, Maya watched and learned. Computer, show me the movement patterns again, she said. The holographic display showed the paths the 4 humanoid ships had taken over the past week. Red lines traced their routes through space, and Maya studied each turn and change of direction. Look at this, she whispered to herself. Every time a humanoid ship approached a trade route or a civilian area, it changed course, every single time. These ships were not looking for targets to attack. They were avoiding innocent people. Dr. Ew, Maya, came a voice over the communication system. It was her assistant, Dr. Ben, calling from the bridge. Ben was human, one of the few in the fleet, and he helped Maya understand how different species might think. What is it, Ben? The humanoid. Ships are doing something new. You need to see this. Maya rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, she could see all 4 humanoid ships moving in a strange pattern. They were not moving toward the military fleet or away from it. Instead, they seemed to be searching for something. Watch their head sections. Ben pointed at the screen. See how they turn and scan? They are looking for something specific. Maya nodded. But what are they looking for? I have been thinking about that, Ben said. What if they are not here to attack anyone? What if they are on a rescue mission? The idea hit Maya like lightning. Rescue mission. That would explain everything. Why they avoided civilian areas. Why they moved carefully. Why they tried to communicate instead of attacking. Ben, pull up all the reports of missing ships in this sector for the past year. Ben's fingers moved quickly over his control panel. Here, Dr. Maya, 12 civilian ships reported missing. Most of them were colony ships or exploration vessels. Show me their last known positions. The star map appeared on screen with red dots marking where ships had disappeared. Maya compared it to the routes the humanoid ships had taken. The match was almost perfect. They are searching for survivors, Maya said in amazement. These are not weapons, these are rescue ships. But before she could share her discovery, alarms rang throughout the fleet. Captain Cole of the destroyer Swift Judgment had made a terrible decision. Cole was a Zorton like Admiral Vex, but younger and more impatient. He had grown tired of watching and waiting. In his mind, the humanoid ships were clearly dangerous, and the fleet was wasting time by not attacking them. "All fighters, follow me," Cole commanded his squadron. "We are going to get a closer look at these things." "Sir," his weapons officer protested. "Commander Rex ordered us to maintain distance." "Rex is being too careful," Cole replied. "We need to know what we are fighting." Cole led 12 fighters in a fast attack run toward the nearest humanoid ship. They pushed deep into what they thought was the enemy's weapons range, expecting a fight. The humanoid ship's response was immediate, but not what anyone expected. Instead of firing weapons, it activated what looked like a protective shield around itself. Then it sent out a pulse of energy that gently disabled the fighters' engines. The fighters drifted in space, completely helpless, but unharmed. Cole tried to restart his engine, but nothing happened. The energy pulse had not damaged anything. It had simply turned off their power temporarily. "What kind of weapon is this?" Cole asked in confusion. "Sir," his engineer reported, "this is not a weapon. It is some kind of safety system. It stopped us without hurting us." Then something even more surprising happened. The humanoid ship moved closer to the disabled fighters. Its massive arms reached out carefully, and it began pushing the small ships back toward the main fleet. It was helping them get home safely. "This does not make sense," Cole muttered. "Why would an enemy ship rescue us?" Commander Rex watched this scene from his flagship and felt both angry and amazed. Angry because Cole had disobeyed orders, but amazed because the humanoid ship had shown mercy. "Get me Dr. Maya," Rex ordered. "I need to know what she thinks about this." When Maya appeared on his screen, her excitement was obvious. "Commander, I have made an important discovery. These ships are not weapons. They are rescue vessels." "How can you be sure?" "Look at their behavior. They avoid civilian areas. They disable attackers without hurting them, and they are searching along the same routes where ships have disappeared. Someone sent these ships to find survivors." Rex felt a cold fear in his stomach. "If you are right, then we have made a terrible mistake." "There is more, Commander. I have been analyzing their communication attempts. They are not threats or demands, they are distress calls." "Distress calls?" "Yes. They are asking for help, not threatening us. And I think I know why." Dr. Maya explained. Her theory to Rex and his officers. Somewhere in space, people were in danger. These humanoid ships were looking for them, but they needed help. They had tried to ask the Galactic Council for assistance, but instead of help, they had received threats and military fleets. "We need to contact Council Leader Zara immediately," Rex said. But as Rex tried to reach the Council, more bad news arrived. Intelligence reports showed that similar humanoid ships had appeared in 5 other sectors. The Galactic Council, believing they were under attack, had authorized the use of planet-killer weapons. "Sir," Lieutenant Dan reported with fear in his voice, 3 Council fleets are moving to attack the humanoid ships. They have orders to destroy them on sight." Rex realized they were running out of time. If the Council attacked these rescue ships, innocent people would die. Not just the crews of the humanoid ships, but also whoever they were trying to save. "Maya, how long do you need to establish proper communication with them?" "Give me 6 hours, and I think I can create a translation program." "You have 4 hours, Rex said. "After that, this situation is going to get much worse." Maya rushed back to her laboratory while Rex tried desperately to contact the Council, but the communication systems were jammed with military traffic as 3 more fleets prepared for battle. Meanwhile, the 4 humanoid ships continued their search. They moved through debris fields and empty space, their sensors scanning for any sign of life. They did not know that they had been declared enemies. They only knew that somewhere people needed help, and time was running out for everyone. Dr. Maya's fingers moved frantically over her computer as the alien fleets closed in on the humanoid ships. She had been working for 18 hours straight, trying to crack the communication code. The mathematics were complex, but she was close to a breakthrough. "Come on," she whispered to herself. "There has to be a pattern." On her screen, Waves of data showed the signals the humanoid ships had been sending. They were not random. They followed mathematical sequences that any intelligent species should understand. Prime numbers, geometric progressions, even musical harmonies. Dr. Maya, Ben called from across the laboratory. The fleets are about to engage. Commander Rex is asking for anything you have. Maya's hands shook as she input the final calculations. Suddenly, her computer screen lit up with decoded text. "I have it," she shouted. "Ben, send this to Commander Rex immediately." The message was simple but shocking. "This is Captain Jack of Earth Rescue Ship Guardian. We are searching for survivors of colony ship New Dawn. 15,000 humans in danger. Please do not attack. We need help." Commander Rex stared at the translated message on his screen. Around him, his bridge crew waited in tense silence. The humanoid ships were not weapons. They were rescue vessels from a species called humans, searching for their own people. "All ships, hold fire," Rex commanded across all frequencies. "Repeat, all ships hold fire! These are rescue ships!" But it was too late for some. Captain Cole, still angry about his earlier encounter, had convinced 2 other ship captains to join him in a preemptive strike. "We cannot trust them," Cole argued over the radio. "This could be a trick." 3 destroyers broke formation and opened fire on the nearest humanoid ship, the Protector. Energy beams and missiles streaked across space toward the massive vessel. "Captain," Jack felt the attacks through Anna's sensors. The Protector was under fire, its shields taking heavy damage. "All ships defensive positions," Jack ordered the other human vessels. "Do not return fire. Repeat, do not return fire." The Protector's Captain Maria followed Jack's orders even as explosions rocked her ship. Instead of fighting back, she tried to move away from the attacking ships while her medical team prepared for casualties. But the Protector was too big and too slow. Another wave of missiles hit its hull, causing serious damage to the ship's biomechanical systems. "Maria, your ship is hurt badly," Anna reported to Jack. "She needs help." Jack made a decision that would change everything. "Anna, move us between the Protector and the attacking ships. Use our body to shield her." The Guardian moved with surprising grace for such a massive ship. Its humanoid arms spread wide as it positioned itself to protect the damaged Protector. Energy beams meant for Maria's ship struck the Guardian instead. Commander Rex watched in amazement as one humanoid ship deliberately took damage to protect another. This was not the behavior of weapons or conquerors. This was the behavior of people who cared about each other. "Cole, stop firing immediately," Rex ordered. "That is a direct command." "Sir, they are trying to trick us," Cole replied. But his voice was less certain now. Dr. Maya had been watching the battle through the fleet's sensors. She saw something that made her gasp with understanding. "Commander Rex," she called urgently. "Look at what the damaged ship is doing." On the main screen, they could see the Protector launching small pods toward the debris field where the missing colony ship had been found. Despite being under attack, the human ship was continuing its rescue mission. "They are not stopping to fight us," Rex realized. "Even while we attack them, they are still trying to save their people." The small rescue pods reached the debris field and began searching through the wreckage. One by one, they found emergency shelters where survivors had been waiting for months. Families, children, elderly people, all of them human colonists who had survived the destruction of their ship. Communications Officer Sarah suddenly picked up new signals. "Sir, I am receiving transmissions from the debris field. The survivors are thanking the rescue ships. They are calling them heroes." Rex felt sick to his stomach. His fleet had been attacking heroes who were trying to save innocent people. "All ships cease fire immediately," he commanded. "Anyone who continues to attack will face court-martial." Cole and his 2 ships finally stopped firing, but the damage was done. The Protector was badly hurt, and several human crew members had been injured. Captain Jack opened a communication channel to Rex's flagship. Dr. Maya's translation program allowed them to speak directly for the first time. "Commander," Jack's voice was calm but tired. "We do not want to fight you. We only want to save our people and go home." "Captain Jack," Rex replied. "I am deeply sorry for this mistake. We thought your ships were weapons coming to attack us. We understand your fear, Jack said. Our ships do look strange to you, but we built them this way because humans work better with familiar shapes. We never meant to frighten anyone. Dr. Maya stepped forward. Captain Jack, how many survivors did you find? 8,712 people, Jack answered. Men, women, and children who have been waiting in emergency shelters for 4 months. Without food, they would have died in 2 more days. The number hit Rex like a physical blow. If they had destroyed the human ships, nearly 9,000 innocent people would have died. What do you need from us? Rex asked. Medical supplies and food, Jack replied. Our ships can treat the injured, but we need more medicine, and we could use help transporting everyone safely. Rex looked around his bridge at his crew members. All of them looked ashamed of what they had almost done. You will have everything you need, Rex promised. All our medical ships are at your disposal. Over the next 6 hours, an amazing thing happened. Ships from 7 different alien species worked alongside the 4 human rescue vessels to save the survivors of the new dawn. Language barriers melted away as everyone focused on helping people in need. Dr. Lisa worked side by side with alien doctors, sharing medical knowledge and techniques. Engineer Dave taught alien mechanics how to repair biomechanical systems. Captain Jack and Commander Rex planned the safest routes to get everyone home. When Council Leader Zara arrived with the main fleet, she found not a battle but a rescue operation. Aliens and humans working together, sharing food, medicine, and hope. This is not what I expected to find, Zara said as she watched human children playing with young aliens while their parents talked and laughed together. Neither did we, Rex admitted. But maybe this is better than what we expected. Captain Jack stood with his crew as the last survivors were safely loaded onto transport ships. The rescue mission was complete, but something more important had happened. Anna, he said to his ship's AI, I think we have made some friends. Yes, Jack, Anna replied. And I think the galaxy just became a much more interesting place. The humanoid ships that had once been feared as weapons of mass destruction were now honored as symbols of hope. Humanity had made its first contact with alien life not through conquest or trade, but through compassion. And in the years that followed, when people told the story of how humans joined the galactic community, they always remembered that it began with 4 strange ships and the simple desire to save lives. The Galactic Council convenes on the neutral station Nexus Prime, where representatives from dozens of species gather to discuss the human problem. For centuries, Earth has been isolated behind an impenetrable barrier of unknown origin. Recent, deep space sensors have detected massive energy signatures from the Sol system, suggesting the humans are building something unprecedented. Admiral Kane of the Terran Defense Force stands on the bridge of humanity's greatest achievement, the UES Titan's Wrath, a kilometer-long battleship that represents 200 years of desperate innovation. Earth's isolation wasn't protection. It was a prison created by an ancient alien race that viewed humans as too dangerous to release. Now the barrier is failing, and Kane knows they have one chance to prove humanity deserves its place among the stars. The story establishes the galaxy's fear of humans through council debates, showing how Earth's quarantine was implemented after early human expeditions displayed excessive aggression and unpredictable tactical thinking. Meanwhile, aboard the Titan's Wrath, Captain Stone briefs his diverse crew on their historic mission to break through the barrier and make first contact. Part 2. Breaking the Chains. The UES Titan's Wrath activates its revolutionary quantum fusion drive and charges toward the barrier surrounding Earth's solar system. The ancient energy field designed to contain humanity for millennia begins to crack under the ship's assault. Across the galaxy, monitoring stations detect the barrier's failure and send emergency broadcasts. Commander Blake leads the ship's fighter squadrons in escort formation as they punch through the weakening barrier. The breakthrough creates a massive energy pulse that ripples across nearby star systems, alerting every major galactic power to humanity's emergence. On the bridge, Navigator Park calculates jump coordinates for the nearest inhabited system, while Engineer Ross monitors the ship's exotic weaponry. The Galactic Council receives reports of the barrier's destruction with growing panic. President Vale of the peaceful Centauri Republic orders immediate military mobilization, while War Chief Dex of the militant Rigel Empire sees an opportunity to test human capabilities. The chapter ends with the Titan's Wrath completing its first, faster-than-light jump in human history, emerging in the Proxima system where a coalition patrol fleet awaits. Part 3. First Contact. First Blood. The coalition fleet, led by Admiral Vex of the Andromedan Navy, intercepts the Titan's Wrath with overwhelming numbers, 50 ships against 1. They broadcast demands for surrender, expecting the lone human vessel to submit to superior firepower. Instead, Captain Stone responds with a simple message. This is humanity's introduction to the galaxy. We suggest you pay attention. The battle that follows becomes legendary. The Titan's Wrath demonstrates human tactical innovation through unconventional maneuvers that confuse alien commanders trained in traditional warfare. Lieutenant Fox coordinates point defense systems that use Earth's gravitational calculations to predict enemy movements, while Weapons Officer Grant unleashes humanity's secret advantage, kinetic weapons that bypass energy shields through pure physics. In 15 minutes, the human battleship destroys or disables the entire coalition fleet using tactics no alien strategist anticipated. The survivors flee to spread word of humanity's terrifying combat capabilities. The galaxy watches in horror as battle recordings show humans treating warfare not as ritual combat, but as a problem to be solved through any means necessary. The chapter ends with Kane addressing the Galactic Council via long-range transmission, formally announcing humanity's arrival. Part 4. The galaxy unites in fear. News of humanity's devastating victory spreads across the galaxy within days. The Galactic Council convenes in emergency session as species that have been enemies for centuries suddenly find common ground in their terror of the human threat. Ambassador Nix of the Vegan Confederacy proposes immediate military action, while Scholar Hal of the Ancient Titan Collective shares disturbing historical records about humanity's violent past. Meanwhile, the Titan's Wrath continues its diplomatic mission, visiting system after system and leaving a trail of awed and terrified witnesses. Each encounter demonstrates different aspects of human ingenuity, from Chief Medical Officer Lane's revolutionary healing techniques that surpass alien medicine, to Chief Engineer Ross's ability to repair and improve alien technology within hours of first examining it. The galaxy's greatest military minds gather to analyze human combat footage. They identify what makes humans so dangerous: adaptability, innovation under pressure, and a willingness to use any available resource as a weapon. General Zor of the Hegemony Fleet realizes that humans don't just fight to win, they fight to ensure their enemies can never threaten them again. The chapter culminates with the formation of the largest military alliance in galactic history, united by a single purpose: containing the human threat. Part 5. When Gods Walk Among Mortals, the combined galactic fleet, over 10,000 ships, representing every major power, assembles at the edge of human space. The Armada's commander, Supreme Admiral Rex of the First Hegemony, broadcasts a final ultimatum demanding humanity's immediate surrender and return to isolation. The response comes not from Earth, but from Captain Stone aboard the seemingly insignificant Titan's Wrath. The final battle reveals the true scope of human preparation. The Titan's Wrath was never meant to fight alone. It was a test platform for weapons and tactics that humanity has now deployed across hundreds of hidden ships. As the galactic fleet attacks, human vessels emerge from stealth throughout the system, demonstrating technology that seems to violate known physics. The battle's turning point comes when Engineer Ross reveals humanity's ultimate weapon, not a device, but a philosophy. While aliens fight to maintain their civilization's status quo, humans fight for the right to grow, explore, and become something greater. The Titan's Wrath doesn't just defeat the galactic fleet. It does so while protecting civilian ships and offering mercy to surrendering enemies. The story concludes with Admiral Kane accepting the Galactic Council's unconditional surrender aboard their flagship. As he stands before the representatives of dozens of species, Kane delivers humanity's terms. Not conquest but partnership. The galaxy that once screamed in fear of humanity's arrival now faces a choice: evolve alongside humanity, or be left behind as humans continue their inexorable expansion among the stars. The final scene shows children from multiple species playing together on Earth, while in the background, human and alien engineers collaborate on technologies that will reshape the galaxy. The barrier that once contained humanity has become a bridge to the stars. The UES Titan's Wrath moved through space like a predator stalking its prey. Captain Stone watched the barrier grow larger on the main screen, its swirling energy patterns dancing across the darkness like deadly lightning. After 200 years, humanity was finally ready to break free. Distance to barrier? Stone asked calmly. 5 million kilometers and closing, Navigator Park replied, her fingers dancing across her control panel. The energy field is fluctuating more than our models predicted. It's almost like it knows we're coming. Engineer Ross looked up from his station, sweat beading on his forehead despite the cool bridge temperature. Captain, the quantum fusion drive is running hotter than we've ever tested. The power output is beyond anything we thought possible. Stone nodded. They had pushed human technology to its absolute limits building this ship. Every system aboard the Titan's Wrath represented decades of desperate innovation. While the galaxy had enjoyed peace and prosperity, humanity had been forced to evolve or die in their stellar prison. Commander Blake, are the fighter squadrons ready? Stone asked. Blake checked his tactical display. All 48 fighters are fueled and armed. Pilots are standing by for launch. They're nervous but excited, sir. Most of them have never seen open space beyond the barrier. That thought struck Stone like a physical blow. An entire generation of humans had grown up knowing the stars only as distant lights visible through their prison walls. Today's mission wasn't just about freedom. It was about giving his people back their birthright. Admiral Kane stood at the rear of the bridge, studying sensor readings that made his blood run cold. The barrier wasn't just a simple energy field. It was a living system, constantly adapting and responding to threats. The aliens who built it had created something truly remarkable. A prison that could think. "Sir," called Sensors Officer Grant, "I'm detecting massive power buildups throughout the barrier network. It's like the whole system is preparing to defend itself. Kane stepped forward. Can we break through? Engineer Ross ran quick calculations on his screen. The barrier draws power from local space itself, gravity fields, solar radiation, even cosmic background energy. But it has limits. If we hit it hard enough, fast enough, we can overload its ability to adapt. Stone made his decision. All hands, prepare for barrier breach. This is not a drill. In 60 seconds, we either break free or die trying. Throughout the massive ship, crew members secured their stations and activated emergency systems. In the fighter bays, pilots climbed into cockpits while mechanics made final checks on weapons and engines. In engineering, teams monitored the exotic reactors that powered humanity's most advanced technology. 30 seconds to contact, Park announced. The barrier filled their entire view now, a wall of energy that stretched beyond sight in all directions. Patterns flowed across its surface like oil on water, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. For 2 centuries, this had been the edge of humanity's world. 10 seconds, Park counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Titan's wrath struck the barrier like a spear thrust from the gods themselves. Light exploded around them as the ship's reinforced hull met the alien energy field. Every system aboard screamed warnings as impossible forces tried to tear the vessel apart. The quantum fusion drive roared with the fury of a captured star, pouring energy into the barrier breach faster than the alien system could compensate. "Hull integrity holding," shouted Engineer Ross over the noise. "Drive output at 120%. We're in the red zone, but she's holding together." Captain Stone gripped his command chair as the ship bucked and twisted like a living thing. On the main screen, cracks appeared in the barrier, spreading outward like breaks in cosmic ice. The alien prison was fighting back, but human determination was proving stronger than alien engineering. "Energy discharge detected," called Grant from sensors. "The barrier is releasing stored power in massive pulses. It's screaming, sir, like something in pain." The sound came through their speakers, a wailing electronic cry that seemed to echo across dimensions. The barrier wasn't just breaking, it was dying. Whatever intelligence controlled the prison was experiencing something like agony as humanity tore it apart. Commander Blake launched his fighters as soon as the first cracks appeared. 48 small craft poured through the gaps, their human pilots seeing open space for the first time in their lives. They spread out in perfect formation, protecting the Titan's wrath as it continued its assault on the weakening barrier. "This is Fighter 1, came Lieutenant Fox's voice over the radio. "I can see stars, Captain, real stars, not just dots of light through the barrier. They're beautiful." The emotion in the young pilot's voice reminded everyone what they were fighting for. This wasn't just about military victory. This was about freedom, about the right to explore and grow and become more than their prison had allowed. The barrier gave one final, desperate pulse of energy, then shattered like glass. The wave of destruction rippled outward at faster than light speeds, carrying news of humanity's escape to every corner of the galaxy. On monitoring stations throughout local space, alien sensors registered the barrier's death with growing horror. "Barrier breach confirmed," announced Park, barely able to contain her excitement. "We're through. We're actually through." The crew erupted in cheers that could be heard throughout the ship. After 200 years of imprisonment, humanity was finally free to reclaim its place among the stars. But Admiral Kane wasn't celebrating yet. "Long-range sensors, what do you see?" Grant worked quickly to scan the space beyond their former prison. "Multiple contacts, sir. I count 15 ships, holding position near the Proxima system. They're big, sir. Much bigger than anything in our historical databases." Stone felt his excitement turn to cold determination. "A welcoming committee?" "More likely a patrol fleet," Kane replied grimly. "They've been waiting for us to break free. The question is, are they here to greet us or destroy us?" Engineer Ross checked his readings one more time. "Drive system stable, sir. All weapons are fully charged. Whatever's waiting for us out there, we're ready for it." Navigator Park plotted their course to the nearest star system. "Jump coordinates locked in, Captain. We can reach the Proxima system in 12 hours. Stone looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. These men and women had just accomplished the impossible, breaking through a barrier that was supposed to contain humanity forever. Now they faced an even greater challenge, proving to the galaxy that humans deserved their freedom. "Set course for Proxima," Stone ordered. "Let's go introduce ourselves to our neighbors." As the Titan's wrath engaged its faster-than-light drive for the first time, shockwaves from the barrier's destruction reached alien worlds throughout local space. Emergency broadcasts flooded communication networks as governments realized what had happened. On Nexus Prime, Supreme Counselor Rex received the news with something approaching panic. The impossible had occurred. Humanity was free. Now the galaxy would discover what 2 centuries of forced evolution had created. War Chief Dex, who had dismissed human capabilities just hours before, found himself ordering immediate military mobilization. Ambassador Vale began composing emergency messages to every peaceful world she could reach. The barrier was broken. Humanity was coming. And the galaxy was about to learn why their ancestors had been so afraid. The Proxima system's outer edge buzzed with military activity, as 50 coalition warships held formation in a massive defensive line. Admiral Vex of the Andromedan Navy stood on his flagship's bridge, studying tactical displays that showed his overwhelming advantage. 50 ships against 1, the humans would have no choice but to surrender. "Status report," Vex commanded, his tentacles twitching with nervous energy. "All ships report ready for combat, Admiral," replied his tactical officer. "The human vessel should drop out of hyperspace within the hour. Our sensors indicate it's traveling alone." Vex nodded with satisfaction. The Coalition had assembled this fleet within hours of receiving news about the barrier's destruction. Ships from 6 different species, all united by fear of what humanity might do if left unchecked. The plan was simple: overwhelm the human. Ship with superior numbers and force an immediate surrender. "What do we know about their vessel?" asked Captain Moore of the Rigel cruiser Death's Edge. "Long-range scans show it's approximately 1 kilometer in length," Vex replied. "Heavily armored, unknown weapons systems, but it's still just 1 ship against 50. Mathematics favors us heavily." What the aliens didn't understand was that humans had never cared much for mathematics when it came to warfare. The Titan's wrath dropped out of hyperspace exactly where Navigator Park had predicted, appearing in a flash of twisted light at the edge of the Proxima system. Captain Stone immediately saw the alien fleet waiting for them, spread across space like a steel net designed to catch a single fish. 50 contacts confirmed, reported Sensors Officer Grant. Multiple ship classes, mixed fleet composition. They've got us surrounded in a standard envelopment formation. Stone studied the tactical display with interest rather than concern. The alien formation was textbook perfect, exactly what their military academies probably taught as proper fleet engagement doctrine. It was also predictable, rigid, and completely unprepared for human tactical thinking. "Communications, are they trying to talk to us?" Stone asked. "Multiple signals incoming, sir," replied Communications Officer Blake. "They're broadcasting on standard diplomatic frequencies. Translation software is working on it now." The main screen flickered as the alien message came through. Admiral Vex's inhuman features appeared, his tentacles writhing as he spoke in carefully measured tones. "Unknown human vessel, this is Admiral Vex of the Coalition Defense Force. You have entered restricted space without authorization. You will power down all weapon systems and prepare to be boarded for inspection. Any attempt to resist will be met with overwhelming force." The bridge fell silent as the crew absorbed the alien's words. After 200 years of imprisonment, their first contact with galactic civilization was a demand for surrender. Captain Stone activated the communication system and looked directly into the camera. "Admiral Vex, this is Captain Stone of the United Earthship Titan's Wrath. Thank you for the warm welcome. We're here to establish diplomatic relations with the galactic community." He paused, then smiled in a way that would have made his ancestors proud. "However, we respectfully decline your inspection. Consider this humanity's introduction to the galaxy. We suggest you pay attention." The transmission ended, leaving the alien fleet commanders staring at their screens in confusion. The human captain hadn't seemed afraid or even concerned about being outnumbered 50-1. If anything, he had seemed almost amused. "Did he just refuse our demands?" asked Captain Moore in disbelief. Admiral Vex's tentacles turned dark red, with anger. "All ships prepare to engage. Target their engines and weapon systems. We'll disable them and take them alive for questioning. What happened next would be studied in military academies for centuries to come." The Titan's wrath didn't try to run or hide. Instead, it accelerated directly toward the center of the alien formation, its human crew implementing tactics no alien commander had ever imagined. "Evasive pattern Alpha 7, Stone ordered calmly. "Weapons Officer Grant, you are authorized to engage." Lieutenant Fox, leading the fighter squadrons, launched his 48 craft in a spread that confused alien targeting systems. But these weren't normal attack patterns. They were chaos incarnate, each pilot following unpredictable flight paths that made computer-assisted targeting nearly impossible. The first alien ships opened fire with energy weapons designed to overwhelm shields through sustained bombardment. It was standard galactic warfare, two fleets exchanging beam weapons until one side's defenses failed. But the Titan's wrath didn't have energy shields. Instead, Engineer Ross had developed something the galaxy had forgotten was possible: kinetic barriers that used pure physics to deflect incoming fire. Alien energy beams struck the human ship and scattered harmlessly in all directions, painting space with beautiful but useless light shows. "Their weapons aren't penetrating our defenses," reported Grant with excitement. "The kinetic barriers are working perfectly," Stone nodded. While the galaxy had focused on more and more powerful energy weapons, humans had remembered that sometimes the old ways were the best ways. The Titan's wrath carried weapons that would have seemed primitive to alien eyes, if they had understood what they were looking at. "Target the lead cruiser," Stone ordered. "Fire one." A single projectile launched from the human ship, not an energy beam or plasma bolt, but a simple piece of metal accelerated to near light speed. The tungsten rod struck the alien cruiser's shields at relativistic velocity, and the laws of physics did the rest. The coalition flagship Sovereign's Pride simply ceased to exist, torn apart by kinetic energy that no shield in the galaxy was designed to stop. The explosion lit up local space like a newborn star. "Impossible!" screamed Captain Moore as debris from the flagship rained against his own shields. "What kind of weapon was that?" The answer came in the form of 47 more kinetic projectiles, each one targeted with mathematical precision that made alien computer systems look like children's toys. Human fighters wove between enemy ships, their pilots using gravitational calculations to predict alien movements with deadly accuracy. In exactly 15 minutes and 37 seconds, the engagement was over. 23 alien ships were destroyed outright. 19 more were disabled, their crews alive but their vessels crippled beyond repair. 8 ships had managed to escape by abandoning their formations and running for hyperspace. The Titan's wrath floated undamaged in the center of the debris field, its crew calmly running post-battle diagnostics. "Damage report," Stone requested. "Hull integrity at 100%, Engineer Ross replied with satisfaction. "Minor power fluctuations in the kinetic barriers, but all systems are operating normally. We expended less than 5% of our ammunition." Navigator Park looked up from her station with wonder in her eyes. "Sir, we just defeated 50 alien warships, 50 of them." Stone activated the long-range communication system, broadcasting, on frequencies that would reach every major power in the galaxy. When he spoke, his words carried the weight of prophecy. "This is Captain Stone of the United Earthship Titan's Wrath, addressing the Galactic Council and all member civilizations. Humanity has returned to the stars. We come in peace, seeking friendship and cooperation with all species." He paused, looking out at the wreckage of the alien fleet. "However, we will not be imprisoned again. We will not be intimidated or threatened. Any attempt to restrict human freedom will be met with appropriate response. The age of humanity has begun. We suggest you adapt accordingly." The transmission ended, but its echoes would ripple across the galaxy for years to come. In council, chambers, and military headquarters, Alien leaders watched the battle recordings with growing horror. Humans didn't fight like civilized species. They fought like forces of nature, unpredictable, overwhelming, and utterly without mercy for those who threatened them. The galaxy had wanted to see what humanity had become during their imprisonment. Now they knew, and they were terrified. The emergency session of the Galactic Council began exactly 36 hours after the Battle of Proxima. In the Great Chamber of Nexus Prime, representatives from over 200 worlds gathered with expressions of terror and disbelief painted across their alien features. Supreme Counselor Rex's crystalline body flickered with agitated patterns as he called for order. We have all seen the battle recordings. In 15 minutes, a single human ship destroyed 23 coalition vessels and disabled 19 more. We must decide how to respond. The silence that followed was deafening. These were beings who had ruled the galaxy for millennia, whose civilizations spanned thousands of star systems. Yet a single ship from a species they had forgotten was making them question everything they thought they knew about warfare. Ambassador Nix of the Vegan Confederacy stood first, his pale green skin almost translucent with fear. The humans used weapons we didn't even recognize, our shields, our defenses, our tactics, none of it mattered. They swept through our fleet like we were children playing with toys. The weapon signatures make no sense, added Dr. Zara, the hegemony's chief scientist. Her 6 eyes blinked in rapid sequence as she studied data tablets. Kinetic projectiles accelerated to near light speed, its primitive physics applied with impossible precision. Our computers couldn't even track the trajectories. War Chief Dex, who had dismissed human capabilities just days before, sat in stunned silence. His proud warrior culture had never faced an enemy that treated battle not as honor combat, but as a problem to be solved through any means necessary. "How many ships do we have in total?" asked Ambassador Vale, her voice barely above a whisper. General, Call of the Andromedan Defense Force consulted his military database. Combined fleets of all member species total approximately 47,000 vessels. But after seeing what one human ship accomplished, he didn't need to finish the sentence. Numbers meant nothing if human technology could ignore their defenses completely. Scholar Hal fluttered her gossamer wings nervously as she accessed historical records. "I've been studying the old archives. Before the quarantine, humans displayed behavioral patterns unlike any known species. They adapted to new situations faster than our best tactical computers could predict. The holographic display showed grainy footage from 2 centuries past. Human ships performing maneuvers that seemed to violate the basic principles of space combat. Ships using debris as weapons. Pilots ejecting from damaged fighters only to detonate their craft as proximity mines. Cargo vessels ramming military cruisers with suicidal determination. They don't fight to win," Scholar Hal continued, her voice trembling. "They fight to ensure their enemies can never threaten them again. It's a level of warfare we've never encountered." Meanwhile, the UES Titan's Wrath continued its journey through galactic space, visiting system after system. Each encounter left alien civilizations more terrified than the last. At the Centauri Trade Hub, Captain Stone met with local merchants to discuss peaceful commerce. The aliens expected negotiations to take weeks, following established diplomatic protocols. Instead, Chief Medical Officer Lane demonstrated human medical technology that could heal injuries in minutes rather than days. "Your cellular regeneration techniques are impossible," stammered Dr. Rex, a Centauri physician whose forearms shook as he examined the medical scanner. "This technology is centuries beyond our current capabilities." Lane smiled gently. "We had 200 years to focus on keeping our people alive in a hostile environment. Necessity breeds innovation." In the industrial system of Rigel 7, Engineer Ross examined alien manufacturing equipment and identified 17 different improvements within the first hour. His casual suggestions doubled the factory's output efficiency, leaving the plant supervisors staring at production figures they had never imagined possible. "How did you know to realign the molecular matrices?" asked Chief Engineer Vort, his metallic body sparking with nervous energy. Ross shrugged. "It's just physics. You We're fighting the natural flow instead of working with it. Each demonstration of human capability sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. These weren't the primitive warriors who had been locked away centuries ago. This was something new, something evolved, something that had spent 2 centuries learning to survive and thrive under impossible conditions. Back on Nexus Prime, the emergency session continued as military leaders from across the galaxy analyzed human combat footage frame by frame. Admiral Zek of the First Hegemony Fleet pointed at tactical displays showing the Battle of Proxima. Look at their fighter patterns. No computer could generate flight paths that random, yet they achieved perfect coordination. It's like they're thinking and reacting as a single organism. The kinetic weapons bypass all known defensive systems, added General Moore of the Rigel Empire. Energy shields, particle barriers, even gravitational deflectors. None of it stops simple metal moving at relativistic speeds. Captain Hex of the Titan Collective's warfleet studied human ship movements with growing dread. They're not following any tactical doctrine we recognize. They treat each engagement as a unique puzzle to be solved. By the time we adapt to their tactics, they've already changed them. The most disturbing revelation came from Dr. Yan, the galaxy's leading expert in xenopsychology. I've analyzed their communication patterns and behavioral responses. Humans don't just fight to defend themselves, they fight to ensure their species' continued expansion and growth. They view any attempt to limit their freedom as an existential threat. Supreme Counselor Rex processed this information with growing alarm. Are you saying they cannot be contained through traditional diplomatic methods? I'm saying they've evolved beyond containment, Dr. Yan replied grimly. 2 centuries of isolation didn't weaken them. It forced them to become something we've never encountered before, a species that treats survival as an active process rather than a passive state. The session was interrupted by urgent communications from across the galaxy. The human ship had been detected in 17 different systems over the past week, each time demonstrating new capabilities that seemed to rewrite the laws of physics. Ambassador Vale received reports from her homeworld with increasing panic. They've shared medical technology that could revolutionize healthcare across the galaxy. They've solved engineering problems that have puzzled our best minds for decades. They're not trying to conquer us through force alone. They're proving their superiority in every field of knowledge. The terrible truth began to dawn on the assembled delegates. Humanity hadn't just built better weapons during their imprisonment. They had become better at everything: medicine, engineering, science, tactics. 2 centuries of desperate innovation had produced a species that could outthink, outfight, and outbuild any civilization in the galaxy. What do they want? Whispered War Chief Dex, his warrior's pride completely shattered. The answer came from an unexpected source. A new transmission from the Titan's Wrath appeared on the main display, showing Captain Stone addressing the camera with calm confidence. To the leaders of the Galactic Council, Stone began, we understand your concerns about humanity's capabilities. We want you to know that we harbor no ill will toward any species that chooses peaceful coexistence. He paused, his expression hardening slightly. However, we also want you to understand that humanity will never again accept imprisonment or limitation. We are prepared to defend our freedom with whatever means necessary. The transmission showed images of human colonies being established, human technology being shared with willing alien partners, and human ships patrolling trade routes to protect peaceful commerce. We offer partnership, Stone concluded. Those who accept our friendship will find humanity to be loyal allies. Those who choose to oppose us. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The galaxy faced a choice that would define the next 1,000 years of interstellar civilization. Accept humanity as an equal partner, or face a species that had spent 2 centuries learning to break any cage that confined them. The age of human dominance had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The greatest armada in galactic history assembled at the edge of human space, like a storm cloud preparing to unleash its fury. Over 10,000 ships from every major civilization hung in the void, their combined firepower capable of cracking planets and sterilizing entire star systems. Supreme Admiral Rex of the First Hegemony commanded the massive fleet from his flagship Universal Dominion, a battleship so large it had its own gravity field. Around him floated holographic displays showing the positions of vessels from 200 different worlds, all united by a single purpose, containing the human threat once and for all. "Final fleet count?" Rex asked, his crystalline body pulsing with nervous energy. 10,417 vessels confirmed, reported Fleet Coordinator Vex. "Every major power has contributed ships. The Rigel Empire sent their entire war fleet. Even the peaceful Centauri provided support vessels." Rex studied the tactical displays with satisfaction. No force in galactic history had ever assembled this much firepower in one place. Whatever humanity had become during their imprisonment, they could not possibly stand against these odds. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Jump to Earth's solar system, surround the human homeworld, and deliver an ultimatum that no sane species could refuse. Surrender completely or watch their planet burn from orbit. "Communications, open a channel to the human vessel," Rex commanded. The Titan's wrath appeared on screen, looking impossibly small compared to the alien armada. Captain Stone stood on his bridge with the same calm confidence he had shown throughout his journey across the galaxy. "Captain Stone," Rex began, his voice carrying the authority of 1,000 worlds. "You are surrounded by the combined might of galactic civilization. Your single ship faces over 10,000 vessels. I offer you this final chance. Surrender immediately and return to your system. Accept permanent isolation, and your species will be allowed to live." Stone listened to the ultimatum without expression, then activated his own communication system. "Admiral Rex, I appreciate your position. 10,000 ships is indeed impressive. However, I think you've misunderstood something fundamental about humanity." He smiled, and something in that expression made alien commanders across the fleet feel suddenly cold. "You assumed we came alone." Space around the human solar system suddenly erupted with new contacts as hundreds of ships decloaked simultaneously. The vessels appeared from impossible angles, behind asteroids, inside gas giant atmospheres, even hiding in the corona of the sun itself. "Impossible!" screamed Fleet Coordinator Vex. "Our sensors detected only one human ship." "You detected what we wanted you to detect," Stone replied calmly. "The Titan's wrath was never meant to fight alone. It was a test platform, a demonstration of what humanity could accomplish. What you're seeing now is what we built while you were debating our fate." The human fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Ships that seemed to bend light around themselves. Vessels that appeared solid one moment and translucent the next. Craft that moved through space as if the laws of physics were merely suggestions to be ignored. Admiral Rex watched his tactical displays with growing horror as more human contacts appeared. "How many ships do they have?" The answer came from Captain Stone himself. "Enough." Engineer Ross had spent the journey home preparing Earth's defenses. What the aliens saw as a single solar system, humans had transformed into the most heavily fortified position in the galaxy. Every asteroid had been hollowed out and filled with weapons. Space stations disguised as orbital debris weighted with charged particle cannons. Even the gas giants themselves had been turned into defensive platforms. "All ships commence attack," Rex ordered desperately. "Destroy them before they can fully deploy." The Galactic Armada opened fire with weapons that could vaporize moons. Energy beams lanced across space in brilliant displays of destructive power. Missile swarms darkened the void as 10,000 ships unleashed everything they had. The human response was devastating in its precision. Instead of meeting energy with energy, the human fleet used tactics that alien commanders couldn't comprehend. Ships that should have been destroyed simply weren't there when the weapons arrived. Vessels appeared to teleport between positions, striking at enemy weak points with surgical accuracy. Lieutenant Fox led fighter squadrons that moved like schools of fish, each pilot anticipating the actions of their teammates through intuition that bordered on telepathy. They wove between alien capital ships, planting kinetic charges that detonated with mathematical precision. "They're not fighting like separate ships," observed General Cole in amazement. "It's like they're all part of one massive organism." That observation was more accurate than the alien general realized. During their isolation, Humanity had developed communication systems that linked every human mind in real-time combat coordination. They didn't fight as individuals commanding separate vessels. They fought as a single consciousness operating thousands of bodies. The battle's turning point came when Engineer Ross revealed humanity's ultimate achievement. The aliens had expected kinetic weapons and stealth technology. They were not prepared for weapons that manipulated space-time itself. A section of the alien fleet simply folded in on itself. Ships compressed into impossibly small points before, winking out of existence. Another group found themselves scattered across multiple dimensions, their crews experiencing the terror of existing in several places at once. "What are they doing to us?" screamed Captain Moore as his ship began to stretch, like taffy. The answer came from Admiral Kane, who had remained silent throughout the engagement. "You wanted to see what humanity became during our imprisonment. We learned to treat reality itself as something that could be engineered." As the galactic fleet crumbled under impossible physics, human vessels moved among the wreckage not to destroy the survivors, but to rescue them. Medical ships appeared alongside alien vessels, offering aid to crews whose ships had been disabled rather than destroyed. "Attention all vessels," Stone broadcast across all frequencies. "This is Captain Stone of the United Earthship Titans. Wrath. Any ship that stands down will be treated with mercy. We are not your enemies unless you choose to make us so." The offer of mercy in the midst of overwhelming victory broke the spirit of the galactic fleet more effectively than any weapon could have. Ship after ship powered down their weapons and broadcast surrender signals. Admiral Rex sat in his command chair, staring at tactical displays that showed his mighty armada reduced to scattered debris and surrendering vessels. In less than an hour, humanity had accomplished what should have been impossible: the defeat of galactic civilizations combined. Military might. "How?" he whispered. The answer came from Admiral Kane as he materialized on Rex's bridge through a transportation technology that shouldn't exist. "Because you were fighting the wrong war, Admiral. You came here to destroy us, to force us back, into our cage. But we weren't fighting to win a battle." Kane gestured toward the observation deck, where Earth hung in space like a blue jewel surrounded by the wreckage of alien ambition. "We were fighting for the right to exist, to grow, to become something greater than what we were. That's a fight we can never afford to lose." The surrender ceremony took place aboard the Titan's Wrath, with representatives from every major galactic power formally acknowledging humanity's right to freedom. But Admiral Kane's terms surprised everyone who heard them. "We don't want your worlds," Kane announced to the assembled alien delegates. "We don't want your resources or your populations. We want something far more valuable. Partnership." He activated a holographic display showing human colonies being established throughout the galaxy, not as conquests but as beacons of cooperation. Human medical technology healing alien diseases. Human engineering solving problems that had plagued civilizations for centuries. Human exploration vessels mapping new star systems alongside alien crews. The galaxy that once screamed in fear of humanity's arrival now has a choice. Kane continued. "Grow alongside us. Learn from us as we learn from you, and together we'll build something neither of our species could achieve alone." The transformation began immediately. On worlds throughout the galaxy, human teachers worked alongside alien students. In research stations, human scientists collaborated with alien minds to unlock secrets of the universe. On trade routes, human ships protected alien merchants from pirates and natural disasters. The final scene played out on Earth itself, where alien children learned to play human games while human youngsters marveled at alien technologies. Ambassador Vale watched her own daughter laughing with human friends, speaking a language that mixed human words with Centauri concepts. "They terrified us," Vale said to War Chief Dex, who stood beside her observing the peaceful scene. "They still terrify me," Dex admitted. "But now I understand why. It's not their weapons or their technology. It's their refusal to accept limitations. They look at any barrier and ask not, how do we survive this, but how do we transcend this?" Above them, construction ships from a dozen different species worked together to build humanity's first interstellar university, where the greatest minds in the galaxy would come to learn and teach. The prison that had once contained humanity had become a bridge to the stars. The age of human dominance had begun not through conquest, but through the simple revolutionary idea that all intelligent life deserved the chance to reach its full potential. The galaxy had screamed in fear when humanity arrived. Now it sang with hope for what they might become together.